New Orleans Entrepreneur Week. Presented by Urban League of Louisiana. A recipe for success, leveraging best-in-class accelerator programs to grow your food service business.
Welcome. My name is Classy Duncan. I serve as the Vice President for the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the Urban League of Louisiana. I had to welcome you all to New Orleans Entrepreneur Week. Shout out to our entrepreneurs and the support network that they have around them. I am so, again, excited to have you all here, so excited to be a part of New Orleans Entrepreneur Week as we celebrate Noe in your neighborhood, Noe in your neighborhood. So I first want to start off by thanking the Idea Village, of course, JB Morgan Chase is their title sponsor for hosting yet another wonderful and amazing entrepreneurship week, New Orleans Entrepreneurship Week. We know there's going to be some amazing things going on here in the city of New Orleans as we celebrate entrepreneurs. But also in the midst of that celebration, we also want to make sure that entrepreneurs are getting access to the education, the resources, the tools, and the networking opportunities that you all need to start and grow businesses. And as we stay at the Urban League of Louisiana, start and grow the right way. Right? So again, I want to thank you all for being here. We had a number of people register for this session. I'm hoping that people will continue to come in. I know that it was raining. It started pouring over here just a couple of, not too long ago. And so again, I hope that more folks will join us to take part in what I promise to be a very dynamic day of information. Welcome to A Recipe for Success. A recipe for success. Today we're going to talk about leveraging best-in-class accelerator programs to meet the needs of your food service business. So I hope that you all are here and ready for some exciting information. I want to, we'll go through the agenda and I'll make sure that everybody kind of knows what we have going on today. But we have a lot in store. Most importantly, I want this to be an opportunity for us to engage, to ask questions, but also to understand the value of the entrepreneurship network here in the state of Louisiana, not just in the city of New Orleans, but in the across the state of Louisiana. Understand the value of the network and understand that as a resource partner and as a part of this entrepreneurial ecosystem, the Urban League of Louisiana is here and dedicated to supporting you. We do this work every day. I always say we're in the business of entrepreneurial development. And so with that, I want to again welcome you to knowing your neighborhood, welcome you in I don't want to go too far into the schedule without thanking the sponsor and the supporter of one of our major programs, our Black Restaurant Accelerator Program, and that is with the PepsiCo Foundation. You'll hear more. Awesome partner. Glad to be in partnership with them through the National Urban League. Again, I'm not going to go too far on it because I want to make sure that our special guest has an opportunity to speak on it. But again, we have some amazing relationships. Their relationships, because we are dedicated to making sure that small businesses have the right resources to grow and scale. And so in order for us to do that, we have to partner. We have to have strategic partnerships that really align with our mission, and that is supporting under-resourced, underserved businesses, again, across the state of Louisiana. So again, we thank the PepsiCo Foundation. With that, I'm going to just stop here for just a second. I'll come back to you guys with some more information because I could talk all day about entrepreneurship. That's what we do, all day. So I'm going to share just a little bit today because I don't want to scare y'all off. But I'm going to share a little bit with y'all today about our programs. But first, I want to introduce you all and welcome up to give some welcome remarks on behalf of the Urban League of Louisiana. And that is our president and CEO, Ms. Judy Reese-Morse. I'd like you to come up to the stage and just welcome our guests.
We are huggers also at the Urban League of Louisiana. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Really, really happy to see all of you that are here with us today. And as Classy said, the weather is a little bit of a challenge for us today, but I'm happy to see that you were able to put it together and to make it and to be here with us today. We are very, very excited to be a part of New Orleans Entrepreneur Week. This is not our first time, and I hope it will not be our last. We are led by one of this country's, notice I didn't say one of our cities, I didn't say one of the regions, I didn't say one of the states. We are really, really happy at the Urban League of Louisiana to be led by one of this country's leading experts in entrepreneurship, and that is Classy Duncan. Give her a big round of applause. She is absolutely outstanding and incredible at what she does, and that is a good thing for each and every one of you, particularly if you are an entrepreneur. You're a small business owner who is interested in starting a business or scaling your business, hopefully to leave it to the next generation. And that is really what we're focused on at the Urban League of Louisiana. We are focused on building generational wealth, helping you to build generational wealth, entrepreneur by entrepreneur, business by business, family by family, because we know that that is what it takes in order to not only have a strong community, but also to have a strong city, a strong region, and a strong state. We know that we are major contributors to the economy. We don't always get the credit that we deserve as small Black-owned businesses, but we know that we are making a huge, huge difference and a major impact in the communities where we operate our businesses. We are the ones who are hiring individuals who may be returning citizens or may not have the highest level of education. We are the ones who are making sure that they have the opportunity to learn and to grow, and maybe even inspire them to start their own businesses. We're the ones that community members come to when they need support to have an event, to beautify a park, to build a church. Our small businesses are the ones who have and make that impact in their communities. And so for us at the Urban League, it is our honor every day to help to grow them so that they can scale and become stronger and become successful. And you're going to hear about a number of those businesses today. We're very, very excited. We want to also thank, of course, the sponsors. Could not do this event with this theme, supporting Black restaurants, without the PepsiCo Foundation. And I'll be followed in just a minute by a wonderful, wonderful representative of PepsiCo who is going to talk about the foundation's commitment to this work and what this program has done, not just here in New Orleans, but across the country. So, welcome. We are thrilled that you are here. We know that small businesses, again, are the answers to many of the challenges facing our community, and it is our honor to do everything that we can through the Urban League of Louisiana to support them in their growth and development. Thank you again for being here. I'll turn it over to Classy.
Again, thank you guys for being here. As more people continue to come in, please feel free. There are seats right up here in the front. To the front. So again, we welcome you all. Let's see. This is our third year. Oh my gosh, our third year of the Black Restaurant Accelerator Program, sponsored in collaboration with the National Urban League through the PepsiCo Foundation. Third year. 3 of 5. So again, a round of applause to the PepsiCo Foundation for their support. So I'm gonna let Jamel Lacey come on up. She's a senior manager for the PepsiCo Foundation. We are just lucky to have her right here in our backyard. She lives here with us.
Awesome.
You're the only PepsiCo person, right? Just the only one. The only one. I'm like, thank you very much. So happy to have Jamel Lacey as a part of this community, supporting entrepreneurs, supporting our businesses as they look to, again, grow and scale their food service businesses. So again, we're lucky to have her, again, not only representing the city of New Orleans, but of course the state of Louisiana. So Jamel, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's times like this I'm glad my mother made me get up in front of the church and speak when I was a kid, because I still get a little nervous, but not as nervous as I look out in front of the faces. Thank you so much, Classy. Like She said, my name is Jamel Lacey, and I have the honor and privilege of being the senior manager with the PepsiCo Foundation and also the program lead for the Black Restaurant Accelerator Program. I want you all to think back to 2020 and what was happening in the world at that time. PepsiCo and our partner organizations and pretty much every enterprise in the world was trying to figure out how do we respond to the needs of Black people in North America, and Black people around the world really, but specifically Black people in North America. At the time, I was not at the PepsiCo Foundation. I actually was a fundraiser for another organization, but PepsiCo made a very bold commitment of over $570 million to support Black and brown entrepreneurs. And $10 million of that 570 went specifically to the Black Restaurant Accelerator Program. While we had the funds, what we did not have was the expertise to reach into communities and develop a program that would touch all of you all. So we needed a partner. And before I started, one of the first questions that I got was, if you could select a partner to activate a program like this in Black communities, one that was genuine, one that was impactful, one that really could move the needle, who would you select? And my answer was National Urban League. And my boss at the time, who wasn't my boss, but she was interviewing me for the position, said, great, because that's who I selected. No problem. My mama would say that too. Reach it up. She said, great, that's who I selected. It was extremely important to us to make sure that entrepreneurs understood that as much as we as PepsiCo knew what needed to be done, we knew we were not the ones that could come on the ground and actually work hand in hand with you all to give you the skills and the resources that you need in order to not only weather the storm of the pandemic, but continue to thrive. And so working with the National Urban League, not only in this market, but in 11 other markets across the country, we've been able to do that. There are 11 million restaurant jobs, or excuse me, food and beverage culinary jobs across the country. And many of the businesses that employed those folks during the pandemic shuttered. And so what we were seeing was not only that there was a need for a response, but also not only a need to respond to those businesses closing, but a need for communities to understand that there is a response that could be activated. And so within the partnership between PepsiCo Foundation and the National Urban League, we've been able to fund training, coaching, and grants for business owners to not only, like I said, help them weather the storm of the pandemic, but continue to thrive after that. It has been probably the biggest honor in my professional career to be able to lead this program. When I talk about it internally at PepsiCo, our executives, who most of them have been in, corporate America their entire lives, are happy to hear the stories. They're happy to see the faces. They are, and we remain extremely committed to this program and to the communities that it serves. So I will not stay before you all long. I know you all want to hear from the people that actually got to participate in the program, but I do want to say thank you so much to the National Urban League for the work that you all do. I want to say thank you to the folks who have seen the program and wanted to be part of it. Please continue to let us know how we can show up for you, because at the end of the day, although PepsiCo is a national company and a global company, we are a global company with local community presence, and we want to continue to be that. So thank you all so much, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the program.
Thank you so much, Jamel, and thank you for all of your support. And I think I can say that on behalf of not only us here at the Urban League of Louisiana, but for the 11 other National Urban League affiliates that have participated in this program. Again, we are just in year 3 of 5. And so just to kind of share with you a little bit about the impact, and you'll meet some of the participants, of course, today. But to date, we have awarded $190,000 in grants. That's just 2 years. We haven't even got to year 3 yet. I'm working on it. But we have seen a number of businesses also not only serve as grantees, but come through the accelerator program and get access to the education, get access to the counseling, get access to the mentorship and support that we have put in place. Again, and I'll share a little bit. I'm going to talk about these things because this is what I do all the time. I love talking about entrepreneurial development, because one of the things that's so important is that we continue to work with small businesses to get to the root of what's going to catapult your business into one that is scalable, one that is profitable, and one that is viable for long-term success. You see, I don't talk about generational wealth creation until we have some other conversations about scalability and profitability, right? So there's some work that we have to do before we get to that, right? And so that is the purpose of the resources that we provide at the Urban League of Louisiana. You guys, I mean, if you're not, is there anybody here that's not familiar with the Urban League, the National Urban League or the Urban League of Louisiana? Raise your hands high, it's okay. Oh, let's talk about it. All right, so let me get comfortable here. So I love this work. I've been a part of the work of the Urban League for now 7 years. And I'm so thrilled to be a part of an organization that is dedicated to empowering African American and other underserved communities when it comes to economic parity, when it comes to social justice, when it comes to all of those tenets of prosperity, and as I mentioned before, generational wealth creation, all of those tenets that are going to create really opportunities for us to thrive. We have been at this for 85 years. The Urban League of Louisiana has been at this for 85 years this year. It's such a tremendous legacy, such a tremendous body of work that has been accomplished, but we are just getting started. The work of the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation is built upon this knowledge and information and expertise that our businesses really need to be thinking about what scalability looks like. We really need to be thinking about what networks we tap into to increase our viability. We need to be thinking about how do we don't use terms lightly. We don't think about just accessing capital. We think about preparing to access capital, right? Right? So those are some of the things that we focus on. One of the biggest things, too, is we see so many businesses starting, so many businesses. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur like yesterday, right? But I always tell people, many people have heard me say this before, I can step away and go start a business in 3 minutes on my computer. It takes nothing to start a business. Oh, but you show me somebody that has grown and scaled their businesses, that have weathered storms, that have taken the information that has been provided, the education, the connections, and transformed that and applied it to their businesses. That's where we can start to have those conversations about generational wealth creation. So again, it's not just about starting a business. Our focus is on helping you to start the right way, but also helping you to scale and to grow. The Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, we have been in existence for over 22 years. Our Women's Business Center is 22 this year. 22. And so I'm delighted to let you guys know that, our services, our core services will not change. We provide training, entrepreneurial training, counseling, and access to resources. 3 things: training, counseling, access to resources. How much do they cost? How much do our services cost?
Nothing.
Thank you, brother. Zero. We rely on partnerships. We rely on organizations that are closely aligned with the mission of supporting, again, underserved and under-resourced businesses. And so, again, we want to make sure that our businesses get access and that there are no barriers, right? Look, no excuses. You didn't have to pay anything. We try to take out, the barrier to even getting to our office. We do most of our trainings virtually now. A lot of them we'll continue to do virtually, right, to make sure that we get continued access. But the core of what we do is based on 3, I call these sub-centers. We have a Women's Business Center that's funded by the SBA. That's a part of the Association of Women's Business Centers. We target our programs on women-owned businesses, but we service everyone, right? All the fellas, y'all can still come over, get services, okay? It's just fine. Some people see that and just kind of like, oh, no, that's not for me. We have targeted programs, but we service everyone. The second subcenter is our Contractors Resource Center. If you know of anyone that is in the contracting space, Frank, wave at the people. Frank is our senior business advisor, a contractor specialist that works one-on-one with our businesses that are DBEs or aspiring DBEs, disadvantaged businesses, and other contractors that are looking to get themselves prepared to bid and win public and private contracting opportunities. So if you're looking for more information on that, please let us know. And the other thing that we have is our small business support services. Our director, Ms. Carla, is the director of our support services team, and she is focused on one of our major programs, which is the SBA Community Navigator Program, and some of our other programs as we look to continue to deliver services across the state. So if you're in Shreveport, if you're in Alexandria, you're probably going to see Carla, okay? Because she is going out across the state. And then Cherie is up working in the front. She is the director of our Women's Business Center. So we also have Christina, who's up front, and Beth, if you can wave. Beth is also one of our business advisors. I just wanted to make sure that you guys saw who the team is. Our team is here, is in full effect. They can answer any questions that you have. But I wanted to kind of share a little bit with you guys. And I also wanted to show you, we continue to deliver programs. One of the most important things to us is ensuring that our businesses, that we focus our efforts on businesses that are across various stages of development, but also across various industries, right? So not only did we start a scale-up program for businesses that were early to growth stage, we also said, wait a minute, can't forget about those startup businesses, right? So we have our Startup Louisiana program, our Scale Up Louisiana program. These are mobile programs that go across the state. So again, sometimes, and just as a note, I always say, sometimes when you get information, it may not be for you, huh? But it might be for your cousin or your uncle, right? Or your next door neighbor. So always take in information, right? You may hear something, you may know a contractor in your community and say, hey, I heard you had some challenges with your business. Hey, there's a resource over there. Again, once you get in the know, you can share information. So these are some of our programs. Again, we focus on veteran entrepreneurs. We focus on women entrepreneurs, Black restaurateurs, Black women in retail, a number of different programs. We're hoping that we can really be impactful through these programs. And the way that we do that, again, is to continue to connect with businesses that want to learn, that want to grow, that want to scale, and are willing to invest the time. And that's one of the things that we're here to talk about today is when you talk about accelerator programs, we can offer it all day, but you have to want to invest, and you have to carve out time to invest, right? As entrepreneurs. That's the one thing they don't tell you, huh? Well, where's that? Where you gonna find that time at? Right? Y'all read the E-Myth, right? You gotta work on your business versus in it, right? We still not doing that. Are we working on our business?
Yes. Yes.
Y'all working on your business? Y'all working in your business though.
In
it, on it, around it, upside down it,
Yes.
underneath it.
Yes.
Most people are like, I'm underneath it. I'm underneath it. That's all I got. But we have to work on that. Carving out time, investing time in working on your business is what accelerator programs are all about, right? You cannot be the cook, cooking the eggs, and be also thinking about strategy, right? And scalability, viability, and access to capital, right? And training from a team, and all this stuff. But let me go with this. Okay, go through this, right? It doesn't happen overnight. It's not a day one thing, but that's the goal. We need to get to the point where we're focused in on working on our business. That's, again, one of the things that's so important about accelerator programs. But again, upcoming, we have and again, it might be for somebody else, women in construction convening. We have programs, startup, scale-up that are taking place across the state. You may know somebody in Hammond, Lake Charles, Lafayette. Tell them, because again, in our 85th year of service, right, we are focused in on making sure that folks get the resources that they need, not in our community, because trust me, we hear from all over the state where everything, New Orleans got everything. It's got everything. We're trying. We're getting out there. So if you know somebody in another part of the state that is looking for a resource, I encourage you to connect them with us. So I just wanted to share a little bit. Another thing is our folks from LED. We are one of the LED's intermediaries. That means we provide services on behalf of Louisiana Economic Development. This is a newly launched platform where you can get access to resources for all of your small business needs. Well, when you go on there, you'll probably find us. Right? Right?
Yeah,
Right?
that's right.
So you'll find us on there and other resources that you can take advantage of. So it's Louisiana Biz Hub. I wanted to share that because, again, you may have a friend, you may have a former neighbor or colleague that's in another part of the state or that's looking for entrepreneurial development services. And so I want to make sure that you guys know about that resource to connect them to. Sounds good? All right, so this is how you can connect with us. We'll continue to share this even after the panel discussion, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew how to connect with us online. Just email us, follow us. All of our trainings, all of our upcoming trainings are available on Eventbrite. So that link, ullacei.eventbrite.com. Please visit it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us by email. Come on. Come on up here. So I'm going to stop there. I didn't, again, I don't want to take too much time on our programs because I can talk all day about those programs because there's so many layers, right? There's so many stories that have come about as a result of these programs. So I encourage you guys, again, to just get connected with us and we can share those stories and share our resources with you. One of the things that has been important to us as well is connecting ourselves with the right resources, right? So, we don't just teach it, right? We practice. And so, as we develop accelerator programs and we try to connect with best-in-class accelerator programs, what we did was we looked out across the country and we said, where is it? Where is the best-in-class? Where is it? Where's their program that has expert restaurant consultants? Where's the program that has a learning management system where restaurateurs can access the information anytime they please? I had to modify that, right? Anytime they please, right? Where is there an accelerator program where our restaurateurs can get access not only to the branding and marketing content, but the food costing, the product development, those elements that we know they're not readily available, right? They're just not. So we were looking for best in class, and with that, I'd like to invite up Ms. Shana Lucian from Proof, who is our partner, our accelerator partner. They are based in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It has been our pleasure to work with them. They had it packaged already. It was packaged. And so it was seamless for us to integrate their programming into what we were doing. And so, again, happy to have them as a partner, and happy to have, we have another one in our backyard. They're based in Chattanooga, but guess where Shana lives? Right here.
I'm going to put on my cheerleader voice because, like Classy, I'm sure the mic's going to fall. It's going to fall by my side. But if you're a restaurant person, you're not always holding a mic. You're not always standing up in front of people. I have a hard time. I think part of me should have been Italian because I got to show you with my hands. But you'll get the gist of what I'm talking about. So if you followed your agenda, you're expecting to see Michael Robinson today. Michael Robinson is the founder and CEO of Proof. He happens to be in Boston for Innovation Week. So as Classy mentioned, I'm in her backyard. I'm the only member of the Proof team that's in Louisiana, specifically in New Orleans. And what just kind of fell into place with the partnership was the experience. You know, for me, walking in this building, sometimes it's a little emotional. And I said I was going to get through this and not get choked up. But my 35 years plus of experience comes from 3 companies: Popeyes, Copeland's of New Orleans, and Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. So to walk in and see all the Popeyes memorabilia, you know, I worked with Al when there was an Al. I worked with Miss Ruth when there was a Miss Ruth. Everybody can't say that right now. So I am extremely happy to be part of the Proof team and part of the partnership with Urban League. And we're just excited that you invited us to participate. So let's talk a little bit about Proof. What's our mission? Our mission is to educate, accelerate, and innovate resources for food and beverage. Entrepreneurs, that's all of you guys. You know, don't think of yourself as just, I'm a business owner. You're an entrepreneur. You're not a restaurant owner. You're an entrepreneur. We're committed to creating sustainable, scalable results for entrepreneurs, and we contribute to greater economic development in the communities. Again, I live here. When I get to work with some of the teams here in Louisiana, yes, we may do a session on the Zoom, but I'm an ops person. I got to go in. I got to see, because you can tell me one thing, you can talk a good game, but I can say, that's not quite what you said you were doing last week. Our core value is diversity, equality, equity, inclusion, and using business as a sound force for overall initiatives. So what is Proof? Proof is a restaurant center for entrepreneurs in the consumer packaged goods as well as food and beverage space. Now, I'm not the best at CPG. I'm not the best at consumer packaging, but I can run with the best of them on restaurants. That's just what I do. And I love what I do. So I tell people all the time, the person that said, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, I don't work.
Right.
I enjoy working with teams that are trying to build their teams. As Classy mentioned, Proof is in Chattanooga. I'm here in New Orleans, but we've had the pleasure of working with Urban League in New Orleans or Louisiana, in Atlanta, in Philly. So 3 of the 11. And believe me, we've been introduced and we're just waiting for our shot to get to work with some of the other ones. So Proof's on fire. The Proof setup itself is actually a restaurant residency program. It's a co-working space. There's a cocktail bar, there's light manufacturing equipment, there's consumer packaging, and there's also a commercial kitchen. So if I were to describe this as Proof, think of the environment and everybody has their own little niche. So when the guest walks in, if they order something off of the menu, they don't know that everybody's business is different. They get a meal presented before them that may come from the pizza guy or the pastry guy or, whatever else is going on at Proof at the time. We coach, we teach, we mentor. We've had to date success in working with over 500 businesses through Urban League and through the resources with Proof. Some of the support is listed here, but today we're focusing on programming as it pertains to our Restaurant Resilient program and our consumer packaged good. But we're going to let Mike just tell you a little bit more about Proof.
Food and beverage, it's so critical for quality of life, for diversity, for sharing culture. But the reality is the failure rate for traditional restaurants is 62% within 12 months, which is sad. And it doesn't have to be that way.
As an entrepreneur, just really wanted to create a program that would help entrepreneurs navigate some of the challenges, but also create a community around them.
And we started running a consumer products accelerator here in Chattanooga, which included a physical incubator, bar, a restaurant program. That idea kind of evolved into Proof.
We have restaurant tenants who serve their own menus where they get the support that they need in order to do what they're so good at. People are sharpening each other and making their products better together.
I love their commitment to community.
We solve each other's problems sometimes.
Like, oh, Eureka. Pretty much happens like that.
The goal is to really lower the barrier to entry and create a safe place for them to get off the ground.
We also do courses for restaurants or consumer products, peer-to-peer support, mentor support, access to technical experts.
I needed to understand e-commerce and the legality of wholesaling.
That class to me was an essential part of my success.
We all thought it would be a really good idea to launch in the middle of a pandemic. We had to get creative.
Mike and Mia were doing a program for small businesses to help navigate all of that craziness.
It kind of accelerated what we were planning to build over 3 years into about 3 months.
Mike and Mia and all the folks here have been really generous with their time and sharing their expertise.
They've just become like restaurant besties for us.
Yeah, I love this place.
I love Proof.
So this is the Proof team. We're not like 50 strong. There's 6 of us. I'm actually the head of coaching right now, but we have somebody that specializes in marketing. We have somebody that does CPG. And the good thing is our founders, Mike and Mia, have both owned their own businesses. Kalina actually has a small business. She does bitters. She has a bitters brand. Between the 6 of us, we have 100 plus years in the restaurant business. So we like to think that we're just a nice little bundle all packaged together. We're spread out across the U.S. I'm in New Orleans, Michi's in Texas, and everybody else is in Chattanooga. So that's the team. So what are our offerings? We offer a variety of ways to get involved and work alongside different communities. That's our thing. We know that the communities is what make things work. Our primary responsibility is with small business resources. We work with development centers like the Urban League. We bring our programs and initiatives to small business owners. Our offerings are continued to grow, and we're excited to have retainer partnerships across the U.S., even though, like I said, the office may be in Chattanooga, but Zoom can put you anywhere.
Yeah.
The importance of food and beverage. One of the driving forces behind our programming is the knowledge of just how important food and beverage are to drive diversity and culture in the communities. Restaurants are more diverse than any other sector in the economy. 4 of 10 business owners are being minorities or women. 47% of employers in the restaurant industry are minorities compared to 36% elsewhere. Knowing this, it became apparent to us that it was important to find these small businesses and work with them to continue to grow their business. The other thing I'll mention is next to the government, next to the U.S. government, the restaurant industry is the 2nd largest employer in the U.S. That's what we do. So just think of yourself as you're the 2nd largest employer in the U.S. when it comes to businesses. Our Restaurant Resilient Program was created during the pandemic and only highlighted the need for these resources even more. You know, when we first started out, everybody wanted to know, what do we do? You know, we can't do this, we can't do that. Hey, you're restaurant people. You put your sleeves up and you figure out what works. You know, we started telling people about, hey, just make it a grab and go. Do everything online. Get it packaged. You don't need a whole big staff. You can do that with just a couple of people. Our course focuses on all the crucial facets of business ownership, and they're relevant regardless of your business. and how many years you've been in business, or if you're just getting started. The operational success model drives a lot of discussions, as is the outline for our e-learning platform. You know, Classy mentioned you got to take some ownership on this. We've put an e-learning platform together where you go out, whatever time of the day is more comfortable to you. I just happen to be a night owl. So it's nothing to get an email at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning for me, because that's my comfort zone. In the morning, I'm catching up on all the regular stuff that everybody else does. But when I'm relaxed is when I do my best work, and that's late at night. Our program consists of 8 sessions on our e-learning platform. It includes live office hours where participants in the course are welcome to share their experiences. You know, that's how you learn, when you talk about other people and what they're doing and how they got to this place, and mistakes and what you've learned from those mistakes. We have a team of coaches and mentors that lead the sessions and also work on the one-on-ones. One-on-ones is when you go in and you book a session and it's just you and the coach, whether that's me or somebody else on the team. We have guest speakers from various backgrounds, the most popular being branding and marketing and human resources. I told you that I work for Popeyes, Roots Chris, and Copeland's, I have to think about it, Copeland's, for over 35 plus years. I've done pretty much every facet of the restaurant. I actually started out in the office. I knew right away I wasn't meant to be in the office, because before I got in the office, I was a policeman. It's like, that's a switch. Yes, it was. So you used to being outside. My mom says I'm the foodie that she always knew I was going to be. So let's talk about a little bit about our program details. To go into more detail, here's kind of what the course outline looked at. And I know it's kind of small for you, but you know, we have it broken down each week, 1 through 8. We have live sessions, we have the ongoing e-learning sessions. The more you put in, the more you get out. And what I really, really appreciate, and the support we get from Classy, she is no nonsense. If you say you want to grow your business, you better be ready to work, not just in your business, but on your business. You got to put in the time. So when Classy asks, hey, well, you know, how'd the session go this week? Or how's the e-learning going? If we hesitate too long, she's going to ask, who's not doing it? And it's like, okay, you're getting called to the principal's office. And she's just going to tell you, look, if this is not the good time for you, or you're not ready to invest in your business, that's okay, but somebody else is. I'm going to talk a little bit about our CPG program. Again, I'm not the expert here, but our consumer package programming is conducted in pretty much the same manner. It's a series broken down from beginning stages to ongoing. It's e-commerce, e-learning as well. You learn everything about, you know, being able to sell your products online and what that looks like. And again, our partnership with the Urban League of Louisiana, not just Louisiana. We're going to talk about Louisiana because we're here today, but we are so happy to be in a partnership with Atlanta and Philly. I've had the opportunity to go to Philly. So here's something else about me. I am a Saints fanatic. Okay? I'm a who-datter. So when I can convince my boss that the Saints are playing in Philly this week, you play for the hotel, I'm already going to be there because I've done the air, and I can meet some of the clients there. It was a win-win for everybody. Our programs are only as strong as our partner support. And again, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank the Urban League Louisiana, because they have a lot of confidence in us, and we have a good relationship with us, and we're looking forward to continue that relationship. The Black Restaurant Accelerator Program. We have been fortunate to work with the Urban League of Louisiana on both the restaurant resilience courses as well as our consumer packaged good programs and additional workshops. You know, Classy will say, hey, what do you think about this? I'm thinking about doing this. If we don't even have to give a response, she'll say, good, it's a done deal. Here's when we're doing it. This is what we need. Our programming in Louisiana has been able to assist over 40 businesses in the communities and counting. Our partnership with various economic development offices and small business resource centers have helped our team assist over 500 companies across the U.S., and again, that's still counting. Testimonials. Here are just a few. I know you can't really read the slides, but in this slide, we had one business owner who actually was able to sell our business. We had another moved into another state. We had another started at the CPG program from a catering company, and another moved to a new location. And I know there's a couple of people in the room today that can give testimony as to the support the Proof team gives when they were in the process of starting their new cafe, Hen focused on sausage. So if you'd like more information about the Proof and the offerings, we invite you to visit our website. Thank you again for having us. I'm sorry Mike wasn't here, but I think I did okay for him. Yeah. And we went to the same high school. She's a little bit behind me.
Please.
Save you forever.
I want to thank Shana. So there was a gross understatement. I don't know if someone could help me with another word for fanatic.
Thanks.
It's deep. It's real deep. Yeah, we might want to, this is the person that you leave alone during football season, right? If there's a Saints game here, far away, wherever, she's there, okay? I wish, okay, I wish. But that she is, you'll see Carl at the Pels games, at the Saints games, she takes it far though. But we love working with Proof. I wanted to bring them in as a part of this conversation because it's so important that we continue to elevate this work, that we continue to be able to respond to the needs of small businesses. And we not even respond, because a lot of this work that we do, we're trying to foresee what kind of issues you're going to have so that we can be prepared, right? And so a lot of the things that we do is, again, to make sure that businesses get access to the resources that you need, but also get connections to the people that you need. And so, again, the accelerator model is a very powerful one. It's one that we're adapting across multiple programs. You saw the Women's Business Center. You saw the Contractors Resource Center. We're doing it in our work with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. We're doing it across all of our major initiatives. And so, again, please, if you have questions as we go throughout today's presentation or today's panel, please, we're going to leave some time for Q&A, but this is a learning opportunity. I'm going to invite our panelists up, and as they get situated again, I want to thank, again, Proof. I want to thank PepsiCo because, again, this work, we don't take things lightly here at the Urban League of Louisiana. We are going to always continue to look at how we can do this bigger and better. And it's really about impact. It's really about how do we get down to the nitty gritty. And a lot of folks have heard me say this, we don't stay on the surface. Because you can get all that, how do you start a business? It doesn't matter, right? And so what we want to do is get off the surface. That's why we're offering mastery level classes. That's why we're offering classes that are getting us deeper into, for our restaurateurs, food costing, pricing, right? Inventory management, right? So again, we have to dig deeper, and then that's what we're looking to do. Wanted to, before we get started, acknowledge our Executive Vice President of the Urban League of Louisiana, Ms. Kathy Washington. So thank you for being here. Also, our Vice President for Strategic Partnerships, Policy, and Development, Mr. Tyrone Walker. Am I missing anybody? Okay. Again, wanted to get started with today's panel. We pulled together a dynamic panel for you this afternoon. Again, I want to thank our panelists before we even get started for being a part of New Orleans Entrepreneur Week on this Monday afternoon. which we know they have somewhere else to be, don't we? And so I want to thank them, first of all, for being here, and being responsive. Because it's, when I reached out, they were like, yep, we got it. And I appreciate them for that, because I really wanted to make sure that they had an opportunity to share their stories, to share their experience as a part of the Black Restaurant Accelerator Program, and also to, again, give you insights. Again, this is how we connect, this is how we share, and for everyone in the room, this is how we grow. So with that, I'm just going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves. And this is where, again, tell us about your business, tell us about yourself. We're going to take some time on this because I really want to make sure that you guys know who our panelists are. And so I'm going to let them take it away. And we'll start with you.
Hi.
Mr. Wayne.
Hi, my name is Wayne Baquet. I'm the owner of Little Dizzy's Cafe, along with my wife, Arkisha. We're a third generation business, and we're happy to be here. She'll tell you a little bit more about our restaurant, so I'll leave it to her.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Arkisha Smith-Baquet, and I am co-owner with Wayne Jr. of Little Dizzy's Cafe. We are a third generation owned family restaurant. And before I go any further, I just want to acknowledge my father-in-law, Wayne Baquet Sr., who just recently retired. Raise your hand for Pastor.
Hey, Mr. Wayne. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming.
I just definitely wanted to acknowledge him because he has laid the red carpet for Wayne Jr. and I to come in and take this family legacy even further. We specialize in Creole soul food, gumbo, fried chicken, bread pudding, that afternoon lunch that'll put you to sleep. But when you come to Dizzy's, you come in as counter service. You are welcome to dine inside or outside, but everything is in to-go containers. And so having these three generations of restaurants with over 10 restaurants from 1947 until to date, that's a lot. And so there are a lot of people who've known the family in the restaurant business since Eddie's back in the 1940s until where we are today. And so what we do is we have people that come into the restaurant for the first time, and we make sure they're aware of what we're offering, and we have people who've been following the family since the 1940s. The goal for us, and what I like to push at Dizzy's, is I want to give when you come to Dizzy's, you're going to get a Waffle House greeting. You know, when you go to Waffle House, hey, welcome to Waffle House. And they scare you almost. When you come to Dizzy's, that's what they go do. Welcome to Dizzy's. Because if you don't come, then how do I succeed? Right? How do I keep business going if you don't come? And then I want to give you Chick-fil-A customer service. If you've been to Chick-fil-A, they harass you. You need any more ketchup? You want your drink refilled? Can I take that for you? That's what you're going to get when you come to Dizzy's. And again, that is my model that I've integrated into this restaurant, because I feel like when I go somewhere and spend my money or take my time to get dressed and drive to come eat somewhere, I want to feel like you happy I came. I want to feel like giving you my money that I work for, you appreciate me spending that money with you. And that's what I try to make sure we do with our customers. Everything you cook, you eat at Dizzy's comes out of our family cookbook. My mother-in-law, Janet, helped write over 90% of the recipes that's in our family cookbook. So I'm actually riding on the back of some heavy hitters, and I'm very proud and thankful for that.
Thank you.
That would be a very difficult one to follow. Hello, everybody. My name is Prince Lobo. I think that's my first accent when I was born. I was raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I'm like, well, wait a minute now. Hold up 1 minute.
Currently, right now, I run ID Snow Law. What I consider as one of the best Ethiopian experiences in the South. It's an Ethiopian restaurant that my mother came up one day, had a dream of opening in 2018, and we opened in 3 months. In 2019, I gave up my childhood dream to open this restaurant with her, and it's really been an honor and a blessing to be a part of this community in New Orleans. As you know, like, people really show love and show up for people who serve them food that really comes from their heart. So it's an honor to be here with all these amazing people in the building first and foremost. So appreciate y'all for being here. But yeah, so now Adis Nolis, an Ethiopian restaurant, but what we really try to do is package an entire experience. We want you to feel like you're taking a trip to the motherland, you know, stepping your foot on the ground and really feeling the experience of what I have felt and what my mother and what we've experienced in the continent, and what we think everyone on the face of the earth should go and experience with going to Ethiopia, one of the oldest cultures and one of the original people of the earth. Every single human being on the face of the earth can trace back their DNA to that part of the world, Ethiopia, and it came back in history as well. So we're just honored to bring that to our local New Orleans community, connecting our origins to our futures, and so on. So, yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Acacia Lee Nicholas. I'm the owner of Acacia's Cafe, the home of Let Us Cater for You. I catered for about 7 years, from 2015 to about 2020. I lost my son in 2019, and it was the hardest thing I ever think I had to deal with. So I had to figure out a way to turn my passion, my pain, into a passion. Just catering wasn't really giving me the opportunity to come in contact with people, but I knew I had to do something to come in contact with people to help me talk and express the way I was feeling. So in 2020, I opened up Acacia's Cafe, which sits right on the corner of West Frank Expressway in Marrero. We do Southern-style home-cooked food, such as like where Acacia does. Her food is delicious. But I do like oxtails, lamb, seafood, sometimes gumbos, but a lot of my foods are done on the grill. So in the height of the pandemic, just sitting at home one day, I saw something pop up about Urban League. So I'm like, what is this? And they said, take an 8-week class. So you want to do something to turn your pain into passion, right? Open up your head and begin to learn more about business. Because there was so much that I didn't really know about business. I was catering, so what I had to worry about food cost as much, or the temperatures and what needs to be done. So I took the class. And when I tell you it's the best thing that has ever happened for me with my business, I have learned so much. Thank you, Ms. Shana. I took the 8-week program. She was one-on-one with me. I did sit in a lot of the groups, and then there was Classy. And Classy has really taken me outside of the box as it comes to business. So if you're interested in really scaling and learning business, the Urban League is it. So thank y'all very much. Thank you. But that's the last.
Boy, y'all something, folks. I thought I was just trying to sit on the end. But hello, everybody. My name is Vance Vokerson. I am with Vokerson Sausage Company and now Creole Cafe and Deli. We are also a multi-generational business. I'm a third-generation sausage maker, and our family business served the 7th Ward community in New Orleans, starting with my grandfather, since 1899. We've been in that neighborhood stretching from St. Anne and Rampart of St. Bernard Avenue all the way to Broad for about 123 years. And when you hear about the longevity of a multi-generational business, we don't always think about how that has happened over time. Well, it happened a lot of times with some hardships and with some changes. But the one thing is, as you take the responsibility to keep moving forward as the next generation, especially those that are in multi-generational businesses, it is a task, because where you may have grown up in something, it's not always guaranteed that you are going to participate in that legacy. A lot of times, I know the Baquets, this generation, had their discernment when it came to taking on and keeping that mantle going. I also went through that same process of if I was really invested in it, if it was something I wanted to do. I had other interests. And so you have to make a decision as a multi-generational business if you, as that generation, is going to continue that family legacy moving forward. The key to that is, will you continue it in your most relevant, current way possible? And that is the challenge. My business, we have a sausage company. My grandfather started as a butcher by trade, and then it went into the first generation. He built his business. Second generation in that model, my dad, who had more of an entrepreneurial spirit, so he started a restaurant on Bourbon Street in the 60s. He had a cigarette machine company. He had a liquor store, all these other entities, but he wanted to continue to keep making sausage, but he didn't want to be a butcher. He just wanted to make sausage. So then he decided, well, I want to not just be a meat market, I want to sell my sausages to Schwegman. That was his big thing. I want to sell my sausages to Schwegman. Some of you younger people, look it up, Google it, Schwegman. You may not know what it is. Trust me, it was the precursor to Walmart. But he wanted to start a sausage company, so that was his dream or his passion or what at the time he started a sausage company, not a customer in sight. All he wanted to do was to try to sell to Schwegman. He was lucky enough to get in there, and then from there we were able to create a distribution with Winn-Dixie, Canalville, and eventually Walmart before this wonderful woman came to town and decided to wipe us out, named Katrina, and she did that in 2005. So the decision for me was to how do I then rebuild and then decide whether I wanted to keep that legacy going. Like some of you are looking at starting a business, those that are in family businesses, now do I then take the burdens in some cases or the chance and opportunity to take a business that's established to the next level? So I then decided to go ahead after 17 years of wrangling different issues with crisis management after a storm, dealing with siblings or family members that are in a business that don't always see eye to eye as to how it's going to move forward. You have to deal with that. So some of these are some classic examples of what can either keep a business going or that could kill it from moving to the next level. So I was fortunate enough to gain access and control, made the decision. Obviously, I married during this time and had children. It was my wife to the business. I don't even know why she's still with me. She's probably gone through hell and high water, as Olivia Pope's dad said. But it's really one of these things where she decided I could not have done it without her. And now she has helped me to take it to the next level. And I've encouraged her to create her own business out of our business, which is a condiment line that she is now promoting on her own. So you never know until you try. You never know until you decide to do what? Get the help. I thought I knew everything, i.e. I don't. So you then create that village. And especially in African-American businesses, what you have to realize is we did not always have that village of opportunity. We didn't always have generational wealth to lean on to start and seed a business. We didn't always have the opportunity from a cohesive, collective group of people that can come together and help you start your business or keep it moving. We've had so many challenges within our communities to do this. Urban League, which has always been there to help us, created these opportunities, and this is why we're here, to introduce you to what Urban League, what Proof, their partner, provides, because you don't have to figure it out on your own. You can sit down with these people who have been in business like ourselves, some who have started along the way, but it gives you a resource to sit down, to humble yourself and say, okay, yes, what is my SWOT analysis? Strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. What do I know? What I don't know? What opportunities this particular business can present me, but what threats could also keep me from doing it? That is what Urban League, Proof, their partners do. They let you look at yourself, see what you can and cannot do, and then put together a plan so that you can succeed. And so when they asked me to come sit here, I said I would love to tell you how I messed up, and then how I've also gotten on the road of success.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you all for your introductions. You know, one of the things that you mentioned, Mr. Vokerson, is, this being humble, right? And one of the things that has been a challenge and what we see every day from small businesses is this, fear of being vulnerable. Right? This fear of saying what I don't know, and somebody seeing that I don't know, and me being embarrassed because I don't know. But once you peel back those layers and get through that type of fear, then you can open yourself up to the learning journey, right? And I would hope that all of us in this room see ourselves as lifelong learners. You will never know everything. You will never know all there is to know. It is so important, especially as small business owners, that you keep your mind open to learning new things. I want to start this conversation off with talking about the landscape of our of the I guess, the restaurant industry in this region. Any takes on where we are? You know, are we growing? Doesn't feel good? Something ain't right? A lot more people involved. Like, what are you guys seeing in terms of the landscape within the food service industry in this region?
Well, you know, to pivot into a different business model, to actually have a fast casual restaurant, you know, I was intimidated and humbled because you have established restaurateurs, you have groups that are putting together models of expansion. Like, for instance, in knowing your market, the first thing they're going to tell you if you go to Urban League is, do you know your market? Do you know what you're trying to enter into? And what you find is within the food industry, especially the retail food industry, you're looking at, okay, what established brands do we have? You have fast food. Popeyes, you have Chick-fil-A, those are choices. Then you have those smaller family-owned restaurants that have been established that have created brand identity. Let's talk about Lil Dizzy's, let's talk about Dookie Chase, let's talk about some of the other ones out there. Then you have those that have come into the market who have shown a new trend of accessibility. You have those food trucks and trailers. So now you can have it where, hey, if they can park on a corner, they can get to you right away, point of sale is real quick. So then you don't have to go far, you can walk out into your neighborhood and eat. So now it's about, how do I create an entity that is a niche? How do I create an entity that's valid? How do I find out how I compete within all of these different people I've identified that's in that marketplace? Because then you can decide very quickly if you can. Or let me find out with resources like the Urban League, like Proof, who can sit down, who know the markets, who know how, what you're coming into. Like, you have people who started out as a caterer. Okay, and then you do well at catering, but you're going to reach a ceiling because there's how many other caterers? How do you then pivot into, do I then get a brick and mortar? What's the cost of getting a brick and mortar? Do I need a brick and mortar? Do I go and get a food truck? Do I go up that ladder? It's all about, how do I plan that? Where's my resources in order to plan it? Here's an organization, Urban League.
Absolutely. In, you know, you talk about pivoting, you talk about kind of switching gears. What is that like for you guys in terms of, you know, if I wanted to go into, if I'm a caterer, I go into my brick and mortar. I'm a brick and mortar, and I go into a CPG brand, or I go into catering, right? What does that? What are the challenges that come along with that? What are some of the barriers that come along with that?
I think with me, I was just trying to find my way out. I owned a restaurant many, many years ago, never really wanted to own another one.
Mm-hmm.
But because it was an opportunity for me to do it and help me escape what I was dealing with, I did it. Didn't know anything about nothing. So when I was able to join the restaurant program, it was the best thing that ever happened to me at that particular time. I learned so much, especially SWAT. I never forget what that means, because it broke everything down and it made me ask questions to myself as it pertains to going from a caterer, going run and drop something off, not having to worry about how I presented myself to people. Versus now a restaurant, you got to be there on time. You know, you got to look presentable. Who wants to come in there and eat? You know, the restaurant isn't clean, setting the atmosphere, really giving what I would want when I go somewhere, spending my money. So it was different. But I mean, I embrace it now because I have so many opportunities and ways to grow within, and not looking at CPG.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing for us was, prior to 2021, my father-in-law ran Dizzy's from 2004 till 2020 as a buffet. He was open 7 days a week. He had breakfast. So we came in, my husband and I, we had to figure out, how are we going to not only uphold this legacy, but deliver and have a positive impact. And I know y'all see that it was just me pictured on the panel and Wayne wasn't pictured, but we a tag team. He's always in my right hip pocket, so that's why he's here. Sorry, I had to have him. But the thing was, we had to literally dig deep and figure out, how are we going to continue this legacy? So we decided was, we're not open 7 days a week. We're open Monday through Saturday. We're not open for breakfast. We're open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. You got a hot 4 hours to come get this food. That wasn't us thinking, oh, we're that good. we had to figure out how is this going to impact our family? How are we going to be able to function? Because one thing Wayne and I agreed upon, we didn't want to overpromise and underdeliver because the legacy must continue. And so we decided we weren't going to be able to offer you breakfast because we don't have the staff to offer you breakfast. So that killed that. We couldn't give you the buffet because of food costs and because of COVID. So that killed that. So what was the next best thing? And that's where the brains came in. And he said, I got a great idea. We go offer the same food, because everything you eat coming out the family cookbook, but in a different format. So now when you come to Dizzy's, you can still get your gumbo, fried chicken, bread pudding, po' boys. You can get all that stuff my father-in-law gave you, but you go get it in a to-go box, whether you eat it in the restaurant, outside, or in your car. But you're gonna get it. And we had to figure out what worked for us in order for us to coexist and still have our lives and take on pushing this thing to the next level.
You know, we did a SWOT analysis on ourselves. And we like, how can this fit with our lifestyle? And you know, my dad, he created this foundation for us. And he's, you know, if he had the Urban League program, he might have 20 restaurants right now, but because he's dedicated to his craft. But that foundation he gave us a leg up. So we didn't have to do as much lifting. We just had to figure out how we're gonna make this legacy, all these recipes that people like and they remember from the 7th Ward, how can we deliver it and deliver it in a way that we could actually manage it? So our challenge now is how can we make it more scalable? How can we make our restaurant do more business, increase the size, increase the kitchen, the capacity, but also have people still come. You know what I mean? It's like if you make your kitchen bigger, but you can't serve them because your restaurant's too small. Or if we make our restaurant bigger and our kitchen can't serve them. So it's all about, and that's lessons that we're learning through partners like the Urban League. We're gonna tap into more and more so that we actually deliver on that and not make mistakes that in the past, our previous generations would make mistakes through trial and error.
It's interesting because what the panelists didn't know is that they're all now being recruited to come to the Urban League as facilitators within the Black Restaurant Accelerator Program. They didn't know it. There's a lot here. I don't know if y'all paying attention. There's a lot here because what they're describing is operational efficiency, right? And it's so necessary for our small businesses, our restaurateurs, and not just restaurants, because this program is not just about restaurateurs, it's also about the caterers, it's also about the food truck operators, right? And so we have worked with all types of food service businesses. And one of the most significant challenges, is the concept of operational efficiency, which you've heard them all describe here just now. We really have to make sure not only because most people think scale means grow. And that, I'm not even gonna go there because, yeah. Look at my team is like, don't do it, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not gonna go into my whole session on scalability. But what I do want folks to know is that growing is not scaling. And we need to, one of the most important things to us at the Urban League of Louisiana is that we are creating scalable businesses where we look at not only that increased revenue, but we also look at how you're producing operating leverage within your business, which means, have you taken a look at your operating expenses? And so, what Arkisha described as, we adjusted, right? We adjusted because of costs and capacity, operational and financial capacity to run a business at that from morning till night. And at a certain point in the day, you start realizing that you're losing money. If you were looking at your costs, you would know that. right? So there's a lot of lessons in there that, again, you got to get off the surface. You got to dig deeper into those things that are critical to having the longevity that these businesses have had. And so, again, I thank you for those responses. We talked about this a little bit, but some of the other barriers to growing, most people, we hear it all the time, right? Is access to capital. What are some of the barriers that you've experienced in growing and scaling the business? I understand some of the operational things. Tell me a little bit more in detail, if you guys would, about, because this is a legacy, right? Over time, what have you guys seen as some of the major barriers, some of the major challenges? And then I want us to turn around and talk about opportunities.
Our biggest challenge, because even though my dad's been doing this a long time, is we've only been doing it for 2 years. He's a resource, so a lot of it is about our own education and our courage. Being an entrepreneur takes a lot of courage. It's easy to be a manager or a leader, but to spend your money, in that business, and every time you turn around, some other expense happens. Courage is big because, we've been talking about expanding our building, our yard, adding a walk-in cooler and all of that. And sometimes it's just, we ain't ready to spend the money yet. So one thing I learned from my dad is that he was very courageous. And some of the things that you learn on paper, I've experienced with him, like being open, making good money at lunch, and then losing it at night. So his experience in changing how he ran his business allowed us to know a little bit more how our business should be run. So, but not everybody have access to somebody like my dad. So we're blessed. And even as smart as he's been trial and error, there's a lot that we don't know, right? There's a lot that we could learn, and that's why we part of this group, so that we could learn a lot from other people, collaborate. Like with the Volker songs, we know them well. We try to collaborate with them.
Absolutely.
I think one of the most unspoken about and kind of unheard, unseen difficulties in real challenges that people face whenever they're specifically starting, because I do feel like right now is a really prime time to start a concept. If you have an idea, if you have something that you're invested in, that you really want to put your heart behind, do it. You know what I mean? Because right now, so many people want to support, so many people want to reach out and give you the resources to do these things. Obviously, that's why we're here. But all it takes sometimes is, like you said, that courage to step, to push forward, being scared of failure, being scared of not having the knowledge or necessarily the resources, but just doing what you want to do. I think it really changes generational, right? We're talking about generations, your grandchildren, your great-grandbabies who benefit from just stepping up, waking up one morning and having the courage to do something that you really have in your heart that you need to do. Now, once you pass that step, when you try to start a business and you want a license to start, oh my goodness gracious, they will put you through a beating to try to get licenses to start a business. And then they're not even gonna call you. They're not going to tell you that you're missing something. They're not going to tell you that you owe something. They're like, oh, you're supposed to come here to the 7th floor and check up on us every week, to make sure that you're getting your inspections, to make sure that you're up to par, to make sure that you're in accordance. They literally would not tell you what you need in order to start. You have to be a soldier and really pride them as much as you can in order to get the licenses and the permits that you need at all levels to be able to open your business. That is easily one of the most difficult challenges. Obviously, the resources is huge. Obviously, the knowledge is huge. But even if you have those things, you will still hit a block. You will still hit a wall if you are not prepared for that battle that you will face whenever you go into trying to get those permits and those licenses. It is a real war that many people don't realize or are familiar with fighting.
Right. A lot of folks just aren't familiar with the ins and outs and the steps to create. And that's, again, why we say leverage a network, leverage a resource, because, again, it can be difficult. It just could be difficult. What other obstacles? Anybody have issues with gaining access to capital? Anybody have issues with people?
Outside of the capital, yeah, definitely. I'm still trying to figure out, like, we have no more stimulus, we have no more SBA, we have no more money being given to us. So why is it that nobody really wants to work?
Come on, Keisha.
When I find out, I'm going to stop doing all the 10 million things that I'm doing because I want to do what they're doing. It's so hard to try to find people to work, and my restaurant is small. It's just me, my daughter, my husband. I have somebody that works with me for brunch, but there's times I don't want to be there. There's times I have to do other things, but I have to be there because I'm Acacia's Cafe. So where are the people? Of course, finances, but where are the people? Why does nobody want to work?
That's a big challenge across
everybody,
all industries, right?
You know, that's the reason. You know, I teased earlier saying, Wayne said because he's in my right pocket, but honestly, I had a dishwasher quit. I had a cashier that went out on knee surgery, and I had another employee that was sick. And I called class and said, I ain't coming. You have to take Wayne. And she was like, all right, Keisha, it's okay. Because I was very upset about it because the support that the Urban League has given us, you know, was great. And it came at a amazing moment. I kid you not. This came right on time. And Wayne was like, it's okay. I felt upset too because I didn't want to let them down because they didn't let us down. They were there for us. And it worked out though. God is amazing. It worked out where I beat Wayne here. You know, it just worked out. But
came through the door and said, wait a minute. Come on,
things happen like that where the staff you don't have. And like she said, I don't like riding off of the fact that the legacy continue and there's not a bouquet in the building. You know, and so I felt very upset about not being able to be there, but this was truly something I wanted to be a part of.
You got to work on your business.
That's right.
Right?
And another one to add to that, you know, a part of working on the business, one of the most important things that you have to do while you're working on the business, create systems.
Yes.
You know, if you look at every facet of our living being, there is no, a solar system. There's not a human being on earth that lives without a respiratory system. God thought that it was extremely important to create these things, and how foolish are we to think that we can live without them, right? Especially in our businesses. So you have to literally, really almost spend every breathing moment finding a way to create a system. How do you do your payroll? How do you find staff if you're looking to try to hire people? Do you have a system for that process, you know? And really, we're talking about working on the business. One of the things that also isn't talked about in entrepreneurship, you have to get to a point in your business where you can feel comfortable to step away.
Yep.
You have to. Because if you're not, you in that dog pen, you know what I mean? You're fighting constantly, and you never give yourself the time or the opportunity to work on it. So you have to, and the only way you can get to that point is if you create a system that can be followed, replicated, and then used as a way to scale a business to really step forward and move beyond those challenges to where you can, you know, get comfortable, kick your feet up, be on the beach sipping a pina colada with the sunshine. You know,
So you thought through this.
And look,
you know,
You thought through this, huh?
yeah.
look, I'm following it because I got the system
Yes, sir.
setting it up right now.
You know?
And so let's go back because I said I wasn't going to teach today, but they doing the teaching, so that's good, right? Tell me, somebody in the audience, tell me what you heard around systems. Why are systems important? Because we're talking about scalability too. So why are systems important? He said it.
You function. System.
Look at how we made it, right? We made a bunch of systems.
Yeah,
One system failed.
that's right. Say that again.
Domino effect.
Domino effect. Yes. Good answers. Good answers. What else?
And also, so when you're not around, the person who's going to be in charge, they have a system to go by, which is your system, and you know nothing fails. So if you have a system, then they can pass it on to the next person, so it keeps going.
Good answer. What you got?
One experience I had going to a restaurant is going there and finding a something on the menu that I really like. Then when I go there the next time, order it. It's not the same. So having a system really helped that situation.
That's a killer right there. Hey, that's the killer. I think gentleman in the back. That's the killer right there.
It's so simple as fried chicken.
I need my.
They know if I'm not there with me, you didn't do it like you.
Hey, how y'all doing?
On the grill.
My name is Osa if you don't have a system, then you can't take yourself out of your business so your business can duplicate itself elsewhere. So like you are the only bottleneck in your business at that point. So if you can't duplicate yourself, then you can't duplicate your business. So you need a system to basically do that. So yeah.
So yeah, we're talking about this. We're talking about clone ourselves. Somebody figure that out. We need to figure that thing out, huh? So all of y'all are right. The word I want you to think about is replicable. It's important to have systems. He said it. Prince said it. Because they're replicable for all the reasons that consistency of product and service, right? Cross-training within the organization, a set of policies and procedures that folks can follow, even if you're not there, right? All of these things. This is why we can use all the buzzwords we want, right? It all comes down to a set of processes that have the end result of what you guys are describing. Because it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. A business will not grow. A business will not scale if it's just you trying to do everything and be everything. It just doesn't work.
Right.
Anybody tried it?
Every day. And I mean, like with some things, you know, you get into some things that you really may not know about, and then you're trying to figure it out, and you're messing up trying to figure it out, so you got to start all over again just to get it right.
And we see so many business owners, specifically in food service, that go down this spiral, just start spiraling. But then they're going from day to day, right? Going from day to day. We still in business. All the while spiraling downhill. And I'm talking about from an operational and financial perspective.
Yeah.
Products inconsistent, losing money. You weren't open when you said you was going to be open. Right?
God damn it.
Somebody walk in, the whole floor covered in dirt and food. Oh, but we still in business. Right? We're still in business. Oh, then the bills start being late.
Oh.
It's $5 off of payroll this week. Still, I didn't make payroll, right? Now I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? Oh, but we in business. It looks good, right? And we have honest conversations at the Urban League of Louisiana. So we don't sugarcoat a lot of stuff, because that's, if you sugarcoat everything, you never grow. You never learn from your, right? So we have to get into the space of understanding that you cannot keep seeing, because, and then we talked about numbers, right? Earlier I talked about numbers and understanding money and food costing. Some people are failing, they have no idea that they're failing. They just know they collected money today.
That's right.
You in a bad way if you're doing that, huh? Don't ask the experts. They'll tell you. You're in a bad way if all you know is that you collected money today. You have no idea your cost of goods sold. You have no idea of your profit margin. You have no idea of the payroll. You're not forecasting anything. I don't even know what forecasting means. You have no inventory management system. I don't even know what to start doing to look at that. So these folks have been through it, are going through it, and continue to learn and grow. You have generational businesses here that said, hey, I don't know it all. I need to get some help. We need help. We're going to leverage the resources that are available. And so, again, they should be applauded for that. Let's go into some other questions. Maybe. It's my time.
2:30.
2:30?
It's 2:30.
Dang. Y'all gonna stay till 5 with me?
No.
He act like he don't want to stay. Huh? I'm just messing with y'all. We're gonna stop here because they've shared insights. And before we even get there, before anybody tries to leave, I have a challenge for everybody. I challenge everybody in here to go to 2 of the 4 restaurants represented on this stage this week. Little Dizzy's, Esplanade. You can't miss a hook. Who don't know what Little Dizzy's is?
On the corner of Esplanade and North Robinson in the heart of Tremere.
Who don't know where it's at? Prince, Lobo, Adis, Nola, on Broad,
Bayou Road.
Bayou Road, Adis, Addis. On Bayou Road, off Broad.
That's right.
That's a spot. Be there.
Well, I'm hoping that everybody goes to their website, make sure that they're going at the right time, because they're not open on Monday.
Yeah.
Occasions Cafe, let us cater for you on the West Big Expressway in Marrero.
Right across from the show, huh? We're AOL.
AOL.
On the opposite side of AOL. Well, Our Lady.
Look it up.
Academy of Our Lady.
Look it up. 204 Occasions Cafe. I am no longer allowed because the fried ribs. I'm not allowed over there anymore. It's a shame. Boca Raton. Boca Raton's Cafe and Deli, 1800 St. Bernard.
And the heart of the Southern Wall.
Pull up.
Let's go.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. I'm challenging everybody in here, visit at least 2 of these restaurants. Last time I went to Cajuns, I came out with 4, 5 plates. It was ridiculous. You feed your families. Little Dizzy's, come on. And then I have to say, I was actually scared of Adis.
That's right.
Don't sleep on it, y'all. Do not sleep on it. I'll tell y'all later the dish I had because I'm trying to remember the name. It was delicious. So I can't have hot sausage, but the crawfish sausage at Boca Raton, please. And put some mustard on it.
Get the mustard.
Creole mustard.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now. I wanted to take some time to do that because it's important. Not only to support businesses, but to support businesses that are legacy businesses, businesses that are giving back to their communities, businesses that are doing the work and taking time out of their schedules to reinvest in their communities. It's so important, so important. So support your businesses. We're going to open it up for questions. Ma'am?
Okay, hi guys, how y'all doing? To Adis, okay, my question, you guys say you opened in 2018. So what capital did you use to open? How much did you use? And how did you do that first year?
Oh, she getting to the questions.
Getting in your business.
I love it.
Sorry. My name is Beniva, and I'm starting a business. It's called Early Bird Eats.
I love it.
And hopefully it'll be open in June of this year. Oh, it's food I'm selling. I'll have a stand. What I'm doing is I'm taking a container, it's 40 feet container, and I'm converting it into a stand.
Oh.
So I'll be serving food.
And early bird, so I'm assuming that's breakfast? Yeah.
Yeah, breakfast.
Okay, and that's great because breakfast is, I think, arguably one of the lowest costs.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as far as capital goes, we didn't start with much. We didn't have that much access to that much capital. It really was just what me and my mother could put together. We literally just dipped into our savings because we had so much conviction with the concept that we knew it didn't exist. We knew it wasn't in New Orleans. We've seen it in other major cities and other major markets. I actually went to different major cities to do research from other places and see what I can learn from them. And then when we brought it together, I think my mother was able to put $35,000 from her savings. Myself, I was able to put 15 down. So, we started with 50 and they were like, okay, we got something, we got excited. We were like, shoot, okay, now where do we start? And then from there, I think after that, she looked into starting the business credit card, right? So you get the business bank account, and then you start putting some money into that. After a certain amount of time, you're able to get some credit. And I think with that, we were able to start off with another 20 or so that we were able to get from that card. So in all, we started with just $70,000, which is nothing whenever you're trying to open a full-service restaurant.
So how did you do this year?
First year, it was decent. We found somebody to help, at least understanding our costs, setting up our systems, right? We knew that was very important. So we found somebody in New Orleans who had an experience of running restaurants, because we had zero experience whenever we started. This person helped put together our menu, our item, costing. So we started with them, which is our most expensive cost whenever we started, was literally just investing in that person. I think their salary was somewhere upwards of $70,000 that we paid for just that one person. So imagine. Luckily, we only lasted with them for 6 months. We couldn't afford. Beyond that, though, I mean, looking for the space itself, our rent was $1,500 whenever we started the space. There was nothing in the space. We found literally the most unwanted space in the city of New Orleans. We were neighbors with the prison on Broad and Tulane, next to Orleans Parish Prison.
What's so bad?
So we literally went to places that, a place that nobody wanted to go to. We were next to a coffee shop. So like, okay, we'll see with no foot traffic. We said there's cars here, so we can capitalize off of putting some nice signs so we get thousands of people driving down Broad Street trying to get the hell up out of there. But we can make sure if we put a sign nice enough that people can see it, nobody's stopping by the courthouse. And we were like, you know what? We're going to take these weaknesses and these pain points and turn them into like success, because we need to, right? So we went all in. $1,500 for rent, a lot of money. What's that, like $1,600, I think, a week for this chef to start us out with us. Luckily, the space had 3 compartments, sink, some other equipment. We had to buy $6,000 6-burner stove, $4,000 worth of like dining chairs and seats. I think we ended up spending $35, so almost, about half of what we had to like get to a point where like, okay, and then now, plateware, silverware, other staffing, other systems, point of sale. So I think to get it kicked off, we were looking at 55, right? So we're really cutting into the budget to kind of get our feet rolling a little bit. That year, we were able to, obviously, statistically, you don't break even until your second year. We broke even that year, in the first year right? That was 2019. Nobody knew who we were. I built the website myself. I, started to organize the front of the house when my father was doing the back of the house. I did our social media page, and we just like stayed at it. We found really creative ways, knocked on every single door. We didn't leave any space for failure. Like, we really did as much as we can to be successful. So we were able to break even, with as little that we spent, $70,000 that we spent in operating costs within that. We were able to at least in that first year, with God, really gratefully been able to break even.
A lot of his teamwork makes the dream work too.
Right. Oh yeah, we weren't getting paid that first year. Myself, my mother, and my father did not get paid. Actually, for 2 years.
That's the reality.
We weren't getting paid at all whatsoever from the business.
I wanted to make sure. That's the reality of it, though. They brought all their resources of their energy together, right? And so it's not an easy thing. What other question?
My name is Genesis Johnson. I'm the founder of Non-Fungible Kids, and right now we're working on bringing workshops right here in New Orleans to underserved communities, and we're working on bringing workshops about meditation and art and tech. So my question for all of you is, what advice would you give your 10-year-old self?
Ooh, that's a good one.
We have a 10-year-old son. We actually have a 10-year-old son.
Yes, we have Wayne and I have a 10-year-old, and not only are we verbally giving him advice, we're physically showing him, because he's at the restaurant every Saturday with us. He's learned how to make gumbo, potato salad, and bread pudding. So the thing that I would give the advice, not only to Jace, but as I would go back to myself, is commitment. Stay committed. If this is something you feel like you really want to do, you gotta be committed. You can't pick and choose. Tuesday, I'm all in. Wednesday, I'm not really feeling it. If this is what you're serious about and you are truly wanting to do it, you got to stay committed to it. And sometimes, as they say, the road gets rough and rocky, and potholes if you live in New Orleans, and you go hit some of them. But how do you come out of that is what's gonna matter. And I think commitment is what keeps you going. So stay committed, James.
I barely could answer that question because it just brought me back to like my son. He was 17 years old with a clothing line.
Wow.
And he came to me one morning and he said, Mama. I was like, what? Because he was always the type of child that'll say things and he said, oh, never mind, but I guess because I was like, what do you want? He said, I want to have my own clothing line. I said, what are you going to name it? He said, Fresh Society Clothing. So I think that he had already mapped out everything that he wanted to do. He just needed my validation. I can tell a 10-year-old today, never give up on your dream. Keep on keeping on. And you have our attention. So I know it's not going to be any problem to get the world's attention. Congratulations.
I love it. Anybody else want to add? Anybody in the audience want to add?
I'd like to say one word.
That's enough.
Yes, that's how I would make myself to believe and really know that it's going to happen.
I love it. All of it. Thank you for your question, Genesis. So we had, never give up, believe, and remain committed or consistent, right? Well, a lot of folks say you can't, entrepreneurship, you can't be sometime in it.
Right.
Sometime. Right? So remain consistent. That's awesome advice. And thank you for sharing with us. Thank you. Any other questions?
Hey y'all, my name is Xavier. I'm a student studying at the University of New Orleans, first year finance student. And so my question is to the whole panel, how do you grow and expand the family business without losing the family in the process?
Without meaning family
Losing a
member
family.
or family member or because that's definitely y'all.
Let's start. Mr. Vokersong wants to.
I don't know if you want to start with me. Unfortunately, lost family in the process. In trying to go through the journey, obviously my folks were a lot older, so they both passed for different reasons. My dad had a heart attack the day before we had just closed on our one of our biggest institutional bidding deals. We had gotten the Orleans Parish School Board, and we were going to deliver to 112 schools in a day. And we had rented some trucks, and we had gotten everything together. We had worked on it, planned it, and he just up and died on me Sunday. And we were going to deliver the first time on Monday. So I had to stayed up all night mourning with my mom, got up Monday morning, opened the door, broke down and crying, and then said, okay, guys, let's load these trucks. We got deliveries to make. And then my mom eventually died of cancer that she battled with most of her life. So they left. And then my brother, I had another brother pass before that, but the brother that had an interest in the business, who really didn't have an interest in the business, he just had some ownership. We just didn't see eye to eye, and unfortunately, I haven't really spoken with him since 2014. So I want to give you the truth when it comes to family businesses. You don't always have family that sees the vision. You don't always have family that sticks along with it. And I was fortunate enough that my wife is my partner, and she has stayed with me through the thick and thin, and has agreed to take this journey on with this new business model. And in turn, I encouraged her to see the value in who she was and build herself as a separate brand to open up an extended business of her condiments. And she's writing a cookbook and doing things. And this is a person who didn't want to do an interview, didn't want to be on TV, did not see her value. And as my job as her spouse was to make her see her value. And now people think she's all over Instagram making the videos. That's her right there.
Dancing.
She's dancing. People don't even know I'm a part of the business no more. So, and that's fine with me. But, it does happen. Be prepared. give them options. They may not want to be in that battle with you or that journey, and you have to be real with it. So don't hold it against them. Honor that wish so that you can maintain that familial relationship moving forward. It's not always for everyone, but in my case, you know, a lot of the family that it started with were not there. My kids and my wife, they're fighting with us, so I'm thankful for that.
Let's hear from one more person. I don't want to get to another. One more question. Just one more response to that.
About dealing with family.
Oh, yeah.
I got to be honest with you. I'm blessed over blessed with the situation with family. Is because I married into this family, and I always tell people how at the restaurant there's a huge picture of Eddie Baquet Sr. over the mantle. So I always got Eddie Baquet watching over me every day. I got Wayne Baquet Jr. at my side almost every day, and I got Wayne Baquet Sr. a phone call away. So I'm in a really, really good position with family. And my husband has one sister. She lives in Atlanta. She's extremely supportive of me being the person that's taking over this family business. So I look at how I am beyond blessed with the family situation of not having coming into this family and a sibling or a relative having an attitude with my father-in-law, with my husband, because he's only there on Saturday. And that's if he's in town, because he still works full-time for a company he's been at for 35 years. So when you come to Dizzy's, it's just like Van said about Julie. People don't even know who Wayne is sometimes unless they've been knowing the family forever. You know, they looking for me. And I truly appreciate that. And I'm blessed because this family supports the agreement or the understanding that I am the next generation that's taking over.
Right.
I'm going to have some upcoming sessions on family businesses.
Right. And I got to say one thing about that. My grandfather instilled that in us. I grew up in a business. We all ate lunch together. We did things together, whether you worked there or not. If you wanted to come hang out with the family at the restaurant, you could. My dad did the same thing. So we were blessed that they kind of established this is a family business from the ground up. So that's kind of like inviting Keisha in and letting her do her thing. It was all part of it.
Right. And to add to that point, I think your question was also without family, right? So I think let this be an example that even if you may have somebody who is not kin or blood relative, create that space to make it feel like, to make an example, be a resemblance of a family structure. Because even myself, like, you know, it's me, my mother, my father. We're only three. You know, we're three deep. But we're very strong people in those sense. But everyone who surrounds me, those are my brothers. I really take care of them and try to look out for them as a part of my family. And why is that? I have no turnover. I haven't had to hire anyone in my establishment. If you go to ID Snola Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, you will see the same exact people in that restaurant every single day of the week. I have zero turnover. I don't hire people. We attract people to our space and we develop relationships with them. And I never have to go, I've never had to go through a hiring process. It's just people who are invested and have those qualities of people who should be family members who are behind you, having those qualities, that commitment, that dedication to what you have. Your family doesn't see it, but there's other people who can relate to that. You know, so create a space that has that environment so you can really connect with people. And like I said, I've never had to hire people. I only attract people to the space. You know, we speak, we talk, and then we become family after the fact. And they really become duplicates, you know, a duplication of myself into those people as well. Because not always family, like you said, family's not always going to be behind what you have going on.
They don't even support. Awesome. What other questions?
You could try to project, yeah.
My name is Jose. Jose, I run a consulting media company, and I wanted to say that I appreciate all of what you guys have said about running a family business, and so I have goals of establishing an economic development organization. And I actually used to work with Prince in his first establishment. And I wanted to ask you guys, how do you guys think that you can support other local big established businesses? How do you think that you can? How do you think you can support micro businesses in your community? And do you think that there's a financial opportunity by supporting micro businesses in your community with your established businesses?
That's a good one.
Well, the Vocathons do this with Julie every Saturday. She allows a pop-up shop of different Black women businesses to come to their restaurant and sell their product. Like this lady has been doing this for a minute, and it's every Saturday. And if she misses a Saturday, she's gonna let you know it's not this week, but it's coming up. So she's a key person that does that in the community, where she is supporting other businesses and allowing them to showcase their product. What Wayne and I do is we like to eat out a lot. So what we do is we go to different restaurants and businesses and solicit and eat there, bring people there, throw birthday parties there, throw events purposely. We outsource those particular small businesses and resources and use them to put back into the community. Like for instance, I did a networking event with the Treme Sidewalk Steppers, okay? So that's a crew, a second line club, but they are in the Treme, we're in the Treme, so I've connected with them to be a part of the greatest show on earth, as they call it, coming up next year. You gotta look into your community and see where can you connect. For instance, Dizzy's is only open, what, for lunch? But if somebody comes there because they used to come for my father-in-law and ate breakfast, you know where I send them? To No-No's on Dauphine Street because he serves breakfast all day. And if they come to Dizzy's and they're looking for something and it ain't working for them, because it happens, I send them to Vocathons. I send them to Dukies. I tell them they open for dinner because I'm not. You gotta do it that way too. You may not physically be able to give it all on your own, but you can always recommend, you can always send out. You know, I live on the West Bank, so I'm always telling people about Sunday brunch at occasion, because everybody not crossing that bridge on a Sunday. If you live on the West Bank, you're not crossing that bridge. Hey, that's a great place you could go on Sunday for brunch on the West Bank. So I think that's a great way, and like Classy commissioned everybody here to do what? Pick 2 of these restaurants to visit this week. Well, y'all know where we're going to dinner every week?
All right now.
We're going to dinner there this week.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. You got to support.
So I think I'm going to have to try this.
Awesome points. I think that was it for our questions. What I want to do is I want to give you guys some time to do some networking. We're also going to take some photos. I have to first, again, before we adjourn for the networking, is to, one, thank all of you for being here as a part of New Orleans Entrepreneur Week. Second, of course, thank JP Morgan Chase and the Idea Village for hosting such a magnificent week of events, but also to our sponsor, the PepsiCo Foundation and the National Urban League, for their support of Black restaurateurs across the state of Louisiana. Again, this is year 3 of 5. And so please look out for more information on this year's programming. Again, there's more to come. And then, you know, most importantly, I want to thank our panelists, the work that they're putting in, not only to run their businesses, not only to uphold legacies, not only to run family businesses, but the work of supporting the community, giving back to the community. Acacia didn't even mention the culinary queens in New Orleans.
Come on.
She didn't even mention it. There's so much here. There's a lot of giving back that's going on. And so that's why specifically I wanted these folks to be here, because there's a lot here. There's cookbooks. There's other products coming. So much here. And so I encourage you, if you are here today and you can hear my voice, please engage with them. There's a lot to learn. Please consider, you know, if you know, or if you or someone you know is looking at a food service business, please continue to reach out to us at the Urban League of Louisiana. If we are not the right resource for you, we'll connect you to the right resource. To connect with us, you can see our email address and our website, please. And also stay tuned. There's so much more that we want to share with you. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the Urban League of Louisiana's 85th anniversary. This year, we have a number of things lined up, and so we hope that you will visit our website and join us as we celebrate 85 years of service. With that, I'd like to thank the Center for Entrepreneurship, the team. Can the team wave? And Carla, Frank, Christina, Cherie. Again, they have been tremendous in making sure that we continue to deliver on these programs. And again, thank you to our panelists for being here. Please support them. Yes.
There are activities going on for the entire week. On Wednesday and Thursday in Gallier Hall, a lot of you may be registered. We're going to have one room that's the entrepreneur room. And so there will be a lot of, we're going to have some panelists again with restaurateurs and a lot of entrepreneurial restaurant and food and beverage people with their goods. And I want to give you my card, Genesis. If you're not already registered, I definitely want you there to see some of the youth pitches.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. We appreciate it. Again, there's a lot in store. Please visit noe.org to look at the remainder of the schedules for the week. Get registered, attend. These events are huge. It's huge to be able to connect and collaborate with folks that you may not otherwise connect and collaborate with. So please take advantage of it. And of course, again, thank you to the Urban League family. Also to J.R. Thomason for photography and videography services. Showtime Rentals for their support on the technical piece of getting us ready to go. So you guys we have the audio visual down. And thank you to the Southern Food and Beverage Museum for having us here. Always love reconnecting with them and then being here. Thank you to Lisa and Liz for their support. With that, let's do some networking. And if you need us, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you again.